Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we are breaking down one of the common question for .NET developers. What is difference between ASP.NET MVC and ASP.NET Web Forms? By the end of the video, you'll clearly understand which one to use when and why. Okay, so let's see the next slide overview of each technology. So let's see. What is ASP.NET Web Forms? So, ASP.NET Web Form was introduced to simply web development by treating web pages like Windows forms. It uses drag and drop control, right? We drag from the control panel and drop elements in the main UI panel. Automatic event handling and view state to maintain this value across pushbacks. So this make development fast but can reduce control over the HTML and performance. We can't build our UI according to the user or the business. Business gives us the UI structure and all, but we can't design according to that. So next is what is ASP.NET MVC. It is designed for modern scalable and testable application. We can design that according to the user perspective. Whatever we have more control over the design. Okay, it separates the application in model. Yeah, because we have model view controller, it separates the model view and controller layers. Give full control over the markups. We can also handle here the routing part and behaviors of all elements. It is faster, lightweight, and high suited for responsive designs. We can also make SPAs. SPA is single page applications framework like Angular or React and REST APIs. Okay, so this both are almost clear. So next is the comparison table, how they are different from each other. Okay, so we can see here the architecture. In MVC, we can separate UI, logic, and data using MVC patterns. Right here in web forms, it is event driven, drag and drop UI with code behind. Okay, we can only handle the UI with drag and drop. Here in MVC, we can code in different languages. Like we can also use the React, Angular, or HTMLs. Okay, so next is talking about the page lifecycle. It is lightweight with fewer abstractions. On the other hand, web forms is complex lifecycle because it has the init, load, render, etc. In MVC view states, there is no view state, faster page load. And here, heavy view state increases payloads and slow performance. It gives slow performance. That why for good UI, we use the MVC. Full control, HTML control, full control over HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Here, server control auto generates, HTML less control, right? So this is the testing friendly, supports TDD and separation of the concern. Hard to unit test since logic is tied to UI. This is all over the UI. Nothing with this is all over the UI. But this is can't handle the UI. The developer can't handle the UI. It is only controlled from the drag and drop, which has been developed by the Visual Studio developers, right? So in this routing cleans SEO friendly because we have all control over the routing structure. This is URL structure, depends on file path. Here the performance faster due to stateless execution. Here it is slower because state management overhead. Suitable for modern web applications, SPA, REST APIs, enterprise level applications. Rapid in web forms, it is rapid prototype, intranet, and small to medium businesses. So this was the key differences. We are now here to compare the code examples. In MVC, we can see here the example of the code. I have given one method over here. So simply I am using the public and the action result, which action it's gonna give me, like action of view. it will view me a page of detail page is gonna view with this method. Okay, and one parameter I'm passing through this is id, which is int data type. So we are fetching the employee data and returning view employee data of which id this will return me the data of employee of id this. So in the url, we can see here is the employee is the controller name, and the next is the detail details is the page name. Okay, page name and the id. But next let's see the comparison of the web forms. Okay, here we can see the page name is employee detail.aspx.cs c sharp .cs means c sharp. Here the method is like protect void page load and then object sender event args e. Okay, string we are defining, and we are passing here the string, and this will take this id to further and take us the view data. So this method is not that uh, comfortable, but the ui which takes the data from our controller to the repository layer and takes data from the database, it is more suitable architecture method. Okay, here the requester ui url is like employee detail.aspx and question mark id. It is showing my parameter name which is equals to 5. So this type of url we can see. But what was the here? What was here? Here was employee detail and file. Employee was the controller name and the page name, then the file. Okay. So next is when to choose what. Okay. So choose MVC for modern web pages or SPA pages. SPA single page application. Performance, if you need performance scaling and REST APIs, you can also use build REST APIs in MVC architecture. But if you want the rapid UI building through drag and drop control, especially for intranet and or internal enterprise applications, you can use web forms. That's simple. Okay. Okay, so next slide. Thank you. If you found this helpful, like the video, comment what topic I should cover next, and subscribe for more .NET tutorials. Thanks for watching.